this new G League thing. Jalen Green chooses to go to this new program. Isaiah Todd chooses to go to this program. They're paying Greens in excess of $500,000 a year. I wrote something. I don't think this is going to affect college basketball all that much, because I think we all knew that the rule was going to come back in at some point for kids to be able to go from high school to the NBA. And now you're having 2 or maybe a couple more. Eventually you're going to have 8, 10, 12. Is this what I can't figure out, guys, is why Adam Silver is doing this. Is he doing this, do you think, to market the league and make the G League better? Is he doing it so that the RJ Hamptons of the world don't go to New Zealand? Is he doing this? My personal thought, and I don't know if this is right or not, is he put all his cards on the table a couple of years ago saying he was favoring the rule to go back to where kids could go out of high school. And now he's thinking to himself, or he's hearing it, that maybe that's not the best thing. So he's going to try this instead to get kids not to go straight to the league, but to at least have a year after high school to go to the league. I don't know why. What are your thoughts on this, Anthony?
The league itself, or
the whole situation? I mean, is this going to crush college basketball? You coached in the league and in college in the last few years. I think you have a different perspective than most people of, is this good for these kids, or is it just something where, again, listen, it's going to happen anyway. What's the big deal? We dealt without LeBron James in college, and college basketball was just fine.
Yeah, I can't say I know whether or not it's going to be. I think that'll be on an individual basis. But my thought, I can't begin to tell you I know what the commissioner's thinking or what the G League is thinking. But I think I think the opportunity to make the G League maybe the second best basketball league in the world, you know, as opposed to kids needing to go overseas to expand their opportunities to make it to the NBA or to make a living, you know, and be able to provide for themselves and their families. And I think anything that you can create for young people that give them options and give them an opportunity to earn a living, I think it's good. So some kids will look at that and they'll want to do what the Jalen Greens of the world have done and say, okay, I'm going to bypass college. And I think this is the best opportunity for me and my family, where other kids will value the opportunity to go and learn from some great college coaches and an opportunity to maybe work toward or to earn a degree in college. And it depends on the values and what the individuals are looking for. So I think, you look at different situations with every player. Like you look at that team we had in 2006 and 2007, none of those guys would have probably been selected for this G League opportunity right now. And they went out in back-to-back national championships because they were bought into where they were, where their feet were, and being a part of something bigger than themselves. So I think hopefully it'll be something that will benefit guys that maybe are looking for that opportunity to continue to develop and get better and just focus strictly on basketball and earn a living. And it'll give maybe some other kids opportunities to take advantage of what college offers. So I think it can be a win-win. I don't think one necessarily means the other one has to suffer.
Anyone else want to weigh in on this one? I know Billy, I'd love to get
your thoughts. Donnie's been, has done scouting for the Clippers. Mm-hmm. Shai's obviously been with Dallas. Anthony and I would get it Oklahoma City. This is just my opinion, and I have a totally different perspective on this.
Yep.
I think the thing that the players are dealing with is, what is a better place to develop, the G League or in college?
Sure.
This is the dilemma. So I don't get a chance to watch as much college basketball now, but when I see games, when was the last time you really saw, besides the elite offensive players in the NBA, post up? There's no post up game.
Zero. Because
of a narrower lane, and because the college game, you can play from the low post. I think until we become unified in the rules, where the court dimensions and everything else are the same, it's different. And I can see a lot of these kids saying, you know what, like, I'm a front court player. I'm being forced to play inside. Nobody in the NBA is really posting up anymore. Is my game going to transfer? Now you're sitting there looking at a college coach that says, listen, for us to win, you got to play inside. I look at Udonis Haslem as an example. Udonis Haslem was a dominant low post player. He was as good as anybody ever coached. Guys never posted up for 17 years in the NBA. Right. So they got to carve a different niche. So I think one of the things that's the struggle for the players is when you talk about the NBA, the G League is a great platform for those kids to learn the NBA game. Do I think college coaches can develop players? Absolutely. Can the G League? Absolutely. The problem is you do not have the same rules or the same game. So I think a lot of these kids struggle a lot of times when they come up to the NBA, and things that they could do in college they can't do. So maybe in some way that development piece could be better for them by being in the G League because they're going to learn NBA rules. I think that's the biggest dilemma is the kids are thinking, where can I get developed better? It's not like, you know, any college coach is a bad developer of talent. It's just the game is just different. And, you know, I mean, you play the Milwaukee Bucks, they got the best record in the NBA. They got the Lopez twins are out there at 7'1" shooting threes.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying guys don't post up at all, but the center just feeding them like it was with Patrick Ewing and Olajuwon and David Robinson, it's just different now. And in college, from the analytical standpoint, you can post up and be efficient. I don't know if analytically in the NBA, unless you have an elite player, if posting up's a great thing all the time, unless you're dealing with mismatches.
So should the rules be the same? Uniform guys? I mean, Donnie, Shai, you can add into this because all of you were in the NBA or covering the NBA at one point. Should the shot clock be 24? Should all the rules be the same across the board?
I think so. Jeff, I know the time I was with the Clippers, you know, and I was doing the scouting piece. I know we were looking more than anything, you know, what guys' levels in college, like Billy just said, how it translated to the NBA. What was the learning curve from guys coming in? Those were things we asked questions about. Being in the G League here now, obviously it's going to give an opportunity for the elite players a place to land and be in a position to grow quicker and I think translate quicker. I know guys like Billy, they don't like coaching 18-year-old freshmen in the NBA. A guy like Doc Rivers, who I was with, he didn't want a lot of young guys coming in the door when he had a bunch of veterans on his team. So the learning curve for those guys to have a place to grow other than college, because even certain college programs, you had to evaluate, does that style of play transfer to how these kids have been coached in college by the time that they come to the NBA? And I think there's a big learning curve when they played a certain style of play, and now they're being asked, as Billy just mentioned, to post up, to understand positioning. Can they guard their own spot? Are they two-way players? I mean, there's so many questions that's involved. But I think that from FIBA all the way to college, all the way to the NBA, I think the game should be the same. We have such a learning curve. We're one of the few countries across the world that plays three different ways. High school is different, college is different, FIBA is different, and now the NBA is different. So we got 4 different ways you have to learn how to play instead of just being one way that a lot of these international players have started at a young age. And so their game translates quicker at the NBA because they played this style of play and they understand spacing, shot clock, into quarters, execution, spacing, all those things that it takes time for us to be able to teach, well, even at the NBA.